Welcome everyone to a new What If. Now, don't worry, I'll be going back to the others. But I've been considering of doing another Jurassic World related, What If. So what if Deku was reborn as the Indominus Rex? Yeah, it sounds similar to the Scorpius Rex, but it's different, okay? Where should we start? Oh yeah. We start off with a green-haired lady in a lab coat, working in a theme park known as Jurassic World. The lady's name is Inko. She's recently lost her son about 5 years ago due to a villain accident. She's been stricken with grief and cannot get over it. So she tries to bring joy to everyone, to try to bring back their favorite things. But deep down, all she wants is Izuku back. As Inko is working on a project that her boss told her to do, is to gather tree frog DNA from the lab's tree frog population. As she thinks to herself, great, now I have to gather frogs for no reason, or possibly just to make them all girls. Great. Why? As Inko grabs the box of tree frogs and transports them to the extraction chamber, where they basically extract the DNA. As Inko gets all done with the extraction, she goes up to her boss, Dr. Henry Wu, and asks about a certain project that they're working on, As Dr. Wu says, it's classified and he only needs the frog DNA from Inko. Yeah. So Inko gives, Wu the, frog DNA. And, Wu takes it and puts it in his lab to do experiments. Yeah. But what Dr. Wu didn't know, that, Inko actually carries a bit of Izuku's hair, thinking that one day after she's fired or possibly quits from the job, because to be honest, let's say Inko doesn't like dinosaurs and doesn't like working at Jurassic World because she has the constant fear of a dinosaur breaking out. Yeah. As Inko looks at the bit of Izuku's hair, remembering the good times where Izuku was still alive, having a slight flashback of the incident. Now, we head to the flashback of where Izuku was where Izuku just turned 4 and was driving to the quirk doctor, or the quirk hospital. As Izuku's excited to see if he has a quirk, saying, Mommy, am I going to be a good hero? As Inko says, sure thing, honey. As they're almost there in the flashback, but all of a sudden, someone with, a lot of money and 2 huge bags pass by, and let's say he has, his quirk allows him to basically resemble something close to a monster. I'm not saying that he is one, but he basically looks monstrous. He noticed the car heading his way and uses one of the bags as a weapon, basically destroying the back seat, making the tires pop. Inko faints for 5 minutes. As the villain gets away, the heroes look at the car and order the police to see what's... Well, no. They basically get the doctors right away and check on the car and get the police to chase after this criminal. Yeah. As Inko wakes up in a hospital bed, she has a jolt saying, what's happening? As the doctors say, ma'am, you're awake. Thank heavens. But as Inko says, wait, where's Izuku? As one of the doctors say, ma'am, do you have a kid with green hair? As Inko says, yeah, that's Izuku. Where is he? Getting slightly worried. As the doctors say, we're sorry for your loss. As Inko just falls to the ground in tears, saying, no. End of flashback. As Inko holds the bit of Izuku's hair, she quickly puts it back into the bag and zips it up. As she's ordered by Dr. Henry Wu once again to follow him to his office. As Dr. Henry Wu is waiting for Inko in his office, basically sitting how you'd expect a villain to sit, not like a villain from that universe. No. I mean, like, how should I put this? You know how those classic villains sit, like, we've been expecting you. Sorry. But, once Inko gets there, she says, yes, doctor? As Dr. Henry Wu says, yeah, Inko, there's a reason why I brought you in here. I wanted to show you about the experiment that's going on here. As Inko says, what do you mean? As Dr. Henry Wu turns to look at an ice chamber of sorts, as he says, the first experiment did not go as well, but I'm feeling certain that this experiment might. As Inko looks at the ice and slightly sees an image of a dinosaur with quills all over the back, she gets chills down her spine. And she says, yeah, I can see why you have to freeze it. Looks ugly. As Henry Wu says, the point is, I'm working with multiple dinosaur genomes. As Inko is shocked at this. And she says, wait, you're basically combining like 2 or 3 dinosaur DNA together? As Dr. Henry Wu says, well, it's actually about 7, really. 2 modern day animals, and the others are dinosaur DNA. As Inko basically says, are you out of your mind? What is Masrani doing to you? Or doing to any of us? As Henry Wu says, Masrani says everyone's getting bored of the old dinosaurs. They're becoming lame. So I thought of the idea of using, how should I put this? Hybrid dinosaurs, if you will. As Inko pauses, and Henry Wu says, but the last time that went into mayhem, basically catastrophe, basically ended in catastrophe. So, the first experiment I used Velociraptor DNA and T-Rex. I want to try that again. But I added in something else last time. As Inko looks at the cryo chamber again to notice thumbs or something. Yeah, let's say the hand is in view, not sticking out of the ice, but you can kind of see it through. See 4-fingered hand with a thumb being 1 finger. As Inko said, you want me to get DNA from people, don't you? Want to make a human dinosaur hybrid? As Henry Wu says, no, I just want the human thumb genome, okay? As Inko says, forget it, since I'm not getting paid enough. As Inko basically storms off into her office trying to think out how she could transport human DNA into a dinosaur that's basically a chimera of others. As one thought comes across her mind, she opens her bag. Well, not really, but she looks into her pocket, gets the little bag, zips it open, and looks at Izuku's hair. As she thinks, will it work? As 5 hours of thinking pass by, as Dr. Wu is getting tired of Inko's absence. As he's about to go out of the office, Inko comes in saying, Dr. Henry Wu, I think I have the answer of transporting the DNA. As Dr. Wu says, Inko, I was actually starting to get worried. But please do come in. As Inko thinks, yeah, right, Dr. Frankenstein. As Henry Wu says, so did you find the genome of the human thumb? As Inko says, well, not exactly, but I'm sure in a little bit of hair has tons of DNA in it. She pulls out a hair and says it's her hair when really it's Izuku's. As she says, we can use a bit of my hair. I ran tests and I could see that just one strand of hair contains billions of strands of DNA. As Dr. Wu says, this could work. As he basically grabs the hair and puts it under a microscope, and he finally comes up with the answer. As he says, Inko Midoriya, you're a genius. As he basically shakes her hand as in a thank you. As Inko is shocked at this, because Dr. Wu is not interested most of the time. Sure, he may say his creations are not abominations, but most of the time he seems as if he's annoyed by everyone's presence. Yeah. So, Dr. Henry Wu begins splicing the genomes. Inko walking out of the office slowly to see what's going on. Five months pass by, and Inko is working in the lab again, extracting DNA out of an amber fossil, as she notices a cart of eggs, pure black eggs, are being pulled into an incubation chamber. 2 being placed in there, and the others are just left to either be fertilized even more or head into Dr. Wu's office. As Inko looks at these black eggs and notices one that's starting to turn green a bit. As Inko notices and alerts one of the scientists there, as let's say this scientist said, maybe Dr. Wu has finally cooked a color-changing egg. As Inko starts laughing on the inside, but really she's just meh. But she is laughing on the inside. As the scientist just walks off. Inko has a sudden interest in this egg. Basically, checking in on it every few hours or minutes. As one of the months come by, and let's say the campers from Camp Cretaceous have arrived in the labs. Inko is watching over the 2 eggs. No, scratch that. Okay, so let's say 1 month passes by before the campers arrive. And, let's think. Aha, I know. As one day, Inko is watching over the eggs as if it's her free time because she's just finished all her tasks. As she's starting to fall asleep, trying to keep herself awake. You know, when you almost fall asleep but your eyes suddenly open, just like, I'm awake. Yeah. When she closes her eyes and prepares to sleep, one of the eggs cracks. She gets a sudden bolt of energy and alerts everyone one of the eggs are hatching, and it's the pure black one. Everyone comes over to see this new specimen. As the egg finally hatches, a hand pokes out and it's almost white. Inko notices a thumb on the hand. What did I say? Oh, yeah. The dinosaur's hand poked out, and Inko saw that it had a thumb. Inko thought that, oh boy, this thing's gonna be a troublemaker or something. Or, oh boy, I can see this thing breaking out. As this dinosaur's face finally breaks out, and, well, it basically resembles that of a Giganotosaurus. Well, at least from the fossils that she's seen when she was younger. But its eyebrows resemble that of Carnotaurus. Yeah. She remembers the incidents when she was hired. Yeah. As this fully white Giganotosaurus-like dinosaur fully hatches, Inko could see tiny quills on the back of its head and, well, elbows. As she sees the middle claws suspiciously longer, wondering what the heck did Dr. Wu put in that thing. As she noticed, the other egg starts wiggling. As she looks at the other one, well, she looks at the green one now, and one of the legs pops out. And she could see this foot was green. A green dinosaur foot. Yeah. As another foot comes out as well. As the other baby dinosaur, let's say the I-Rex, yep, looks on at the egg, trying to walk around a bit. As this now egg with legs starts to run around and ends up in the arms of Inko. Yeah, let's say it was going to fall on the floor, and then Inko catched it, trying to save it. As she pulls apart the shell, trying to see what it looks like, and instead of a red eye from the first specimen, this one had strangely human-like eyes. Well, the pupils mostly, and the iris itself, but they were green. Inko had never seen a dinosaur with green eyes before, and they were strangely green as Izuku's. Maybe this was the after effect? Immediately after the dinosaur, well, the baby I-Rex noticed Inko, well, the green one, it immediately broke most of its shell and started chirping like crazy. Yeah, as Dr. Henry Wu was alerted about the situation, where he goes in front of Inko and says, "Wait, you saw these two hatch and you didn't inform me?" As Inko says, "Sorry, doctor, it's just, I forgot you were working here." As this baby green dinosaur starts basically, how should I put this? You know how a puppy sleeps in your arms occasionally? Like, if you ever held a puppy so long that it ends up sleeping in your arms, basically curls up or something? Yeah, let's say this baby I-Rex, secretly Izuku, is asleep. Like that. As Inko basically, how should I put this? You know when something is, when whenever you first get a pet, not like a goldfish or a hamster, but like a dog or a cat, you instantly think, I must protect you with all of my life. Yeah, let's say this dinosaur was an exception, that she actually liked this one, which was strange. As as Dr. Wu says, all right, Inko, you can put it down onto the incubation chamber. As Inko says, no, I want to hold on to it even longer. As Dr. Wu says, Inko, put that thing with its sibling. As Inko said, okay, putting it on to the well, next to its sibling, the white Irex, as Dr. Henry Wu finally gives them the name of Irex. Yeah, it's complicated, I know, but I've been referring to them as Irex because, yeah, I got tired of saying white dinosaur because that could literally mean anything, like a dinosaur that's the color white, and it could be like a T-Rex or something. Besides, we're getting off track. Let's say 2 days after the two dinosaurs hatched, Inko has been giving the green one a lot of visits while paying no attention about the white one trying to escape. While Inko's watching them, how should I put this? Chase each other around in a little box. You know how you, let's say, basically like, quote unquote, playing with each other, playing tag or something. They're basically running in a square box, a very big one. As Inko's basically following, her eyes are following the green one, trying to make sure if this one's okay or not. And there comes a moment where Inko is asked to, where Inko turns her back and goes to get something, I don't know, to drink. She comes back to the box to see a baby Indominus Rex, the white one, with a bloody mouth. And the other one, the green one, laying unmoving. As Inko is shocked at this and informs Henry Wu that, Dr. Wu, that the baby Irex that was the white one killed its sibling. As Dr. Wu is shocked at this and starts considering of abandoning the project. But he shakes his head and said, that was bound to happen. I must have filled in some scorpion DNA into it. As Inko forget it. I'm putting it in its own enclosure. As she basically orders the people that transport dinosaurs to their enclosures to carry the Irex. And let's say this white Irex is more aggressive than they thought. Basically, it's like trying to handle a Chihuahua with rabies. Yeah. But fortunately, they got it into the enclosure. As Inko's very sad about the quote-unquote death of this young green one. As a man comes into the a man walks into the science room, the lab, sorry, and says, "Ma'am, are you okay?" As Inko says, "What do you mean?" And then she sees the famous raptor trainer, Owen Grady. As Inko says, "Wait, you're that one guy that trains raptors, aren't you?" As Owen says, "Oh, so I'm popular here, eh?" As Inko says, "No, I get told multiple times by Claire Deering that you're crazy." As Owen Grady says, "So what? I train with raptors." As he notices the dead green dinosaur and thinks to himself, "What the hell is that?" As he asks a lady, as Inko says, "Please, name's Inko," and as Owen realizes what's going on, as he says, "Listen, it can be tough losing a pet, but sometimes life goes separate ways. I'm sorry about." And then all of a sudden, this baby dinosaur, the baby green Indominus starts shaking and starts to get up and shakes its head and starts chirping towards Inko. As Inko is basically glad that this thing's okay. Yeah. As she's actually, I don't know, happy crying, how should I? Yeah. But should we go into Izuku's perspective now? Yeah, we should. Anyway, cut back to when Izuku was in the egg. As Izuku thinks, where am I? Why is it so dark and goopy? As he starts walking around, thinking, okay, I must find a way to... As he starts to fall, but something catches him that is so big. As Izuku trying to push out through this goopy stuff to see what is carrying him, as some bit of the hard stuff goes off of Izuku, and it's his mom. As Izuku starts saying, Mom, oh my goodness, you're so tall. Am I tiny? Is this my quirk? Mom! As basically Izuku breaks out of this thing and starts, I don't know, trying to go onto Inko. Basically trying to get held like a baby. Yeah. As Izuku says, oh, Mom, it's nice to see you again. As, yeah. And say 1 month skip. Yeah, it's gonna be quite some time. As, Izuku's been getting a lot of visits from his mom. And let's say now Izuku's about the same height as Bumpy. No, wait. The same height as two Bumpies. Like a juvenile one. Or, you know, the one that we mostly see in Camp Cretaceous. Season 1. Yeah. Same height as two Bumpies standing on top of each other. Anyway, as Izuku is basically playing tag with his sister, saying, "You're not gonna catch me," as his sister says, "Get back here!" As they're basically running around in a huge square or circle, as he notices his mom is looking at him and thinks, "Wonder why mom's looking at me a lot. Maybe it's because of my new quirk or something." Yeah, let's say Izuku does not understand like what he is now. He thinks he has a quirk that makes him look like a dinosaur, but really he's a hybrid dinosaur. As he notices Inko is gone, like he thinks, maybe mom's gone to the things. Sorry. As Izuku thinks, maybe mom has gone to get water, and all of a sudden he feels sharp pains in his neck. As he looks over to to see his sister biting down on his neck, as he's trying to say, "Get off," as his sister says, "No, there can only be one." Yeah. As... And Izuku thinks, wait a minute, what should I do? I know. As he basically plays possum, play dead. As he hears the words from his sister say, "Finally, you're gone." As Izuku plays dead for quite some time. They move the white one out, which I'm going to be calling Indy from now on, because we never got an official name for the Indominus. They just refer to it as the Indominus. So I'm going to say Izuku's sister's name is Indy, because I do not know why I chose that name. Like, I could be choosing Cassandra, but that one makes sense. Anyway, as Izuku finally gets up from playing possum to see his mom, noticing that he's awake, and he starts silently chirping, like, that was a close one. If I struggled anymore, I would have played dead. Then all of a sudden, Inko grabs Izuku and picks him up, basically crying with joy. As he starts chirping, Inko just hears chirping. Izuku's talking, really. As he says, "Mom, what are you doing?" As they go in for a hug, Inko hugs Izuku. As Izuku says, "Oh, you want a hug? Okay, that's fine." As we cut back to what just happened, Owen notices that this dinosaur also hugs Inko. As he thinks, Man, must be the smartest dinosaur I've ever seen. As, let's say, 2 months pass by now, Izuku's in his own enclosure, and now he's about the same height as the Indoraptor. And he's in a lot of shrubbery. And he doesn't need his camouflage because he's constantly green. But lately, his feet have becoming more red with age. And he's been getting spots all over his snout, basically resembling freckles. As Inko's watching from the viewing area, that she's given the name to the green irex Izuku for remembrance of her son, as she says, okay, has he been fed? As one of the workers say, no, ma'am. Why? As Inko says, I think he's hungry. As one of the workers looks to see this green Indominus Rex looking at the man. And let's say he has, I don't know, a burger in his hands. And this man thinks this dinosaur wants to eat him. But in truth, Izuku just wants to eat the burger. Because, yeah. He still thinks he's human, but with a quirk. But he's gonna learn a lot later. Well, he's gonna learn soon that he's not a human anymore. Yeah, as they send in a goat. Yeah, as Izuku turns around to hear, well, goat noises, nah, as he rushes over, and we go to his perspective, and we cut back of when he was looking at the guy, or the guy's hamburger. As Izuku slightly growls, well, the people here are growling, but he's actually saying, can I have that, please? As he sees the guy press some button, and it makes a weird noise. Or what comes after it makes a weird noise. So he goes to check it out by going into the shrubs. And he sees a goat. As Izuku thinks, hello. As this goat looks at Izuku with a confused face. Yeah. I don't know if the goats think they're going to be the main attraction at Jurassic Park. Because, do they get to know that they're just going to be dinosaur food? I don't know. Like, Izuku says, do you want to be my new friend? As this goat basically just does a goat noise. Classic bah stuff. And, Izuku says, I'm gonna name you, Cheese. Because he's obviously heard of goat cheese. Yeah. Oh, and by the way, Izuku doesn't remember the accident, but he'll soon remember. Or, well, he basically hear of the accident and suddenly he'll remember. As the goat is all of a sudden picked up by Izuku and says, "We're gonna go on so many adventures." As the goat basically goes, "Bah?" As Izuku thinks, "But first I'm gonna need a room." As he looks at a hill or a lump of ground and thinks, "That'll make a perfect den." As he starts digging, as the workers notice that as this giant green Indominus says, "Hey, does anyone notice or that guy is digging?" As the workers and Inko notice that, they call Izuku the guy or the thing, but Inko calls Izuku. Oh, by the way, Izuku just looks like a green Indominus. Picture the Indominus but with green feet and darker spots on its face. No, not green feet, red feet. Sorry. Anyway. As this takes some time for Izuku to dig, and lately Izuku's been getting fed from huge chunks of, lab-grown meat, because they noticed that Izuku did not kill the goat. This confused everyone, including Inko, because, Now we skip to the events of Jurassic World. As one day Izuku's in his little cave and he's sitting on his bed of leaves. As he wakes up, and let's say he's about a teenager in dinosaur years. And he basically says, "Well, another day, another adventure. Alright, come on, trees, let's get out of here." As his goat basically comes out of his little own version of a doghouse from sticks that he used and some leaves as shelter. And he's been catching fireflies to use as lamps. But, they always escape. And if you're going, and I know what you're thinking. Wait, where the heck did he get a jar? Well, really, he just got a lot of leaves and a lot of firebugs and just, not firebugs, fireflies, yeah. He just grabbed a lot of fireflies, put them in the leaf, put the leaf into a lamp bulb-like shape, and stuck it into a stick. Yeah. And as Izuku gets out of the cave, he noticed something's odd. Nobody's there. He usually sees Inko and the other workers there, and they're not there. As Izuku thinks, strange. Where's Mom? Where are the others? As he starts searching the entire enclosure, if they might have gotten in, as he says, "Hello? Anyone?" As he starts parting the trees to check in between, and he says, "Hey, Cheese, if you mind, can you check the walls just in case? I wonder if they're in here." As he hears a distant roar that sounds like his sister, as he thinks, "This is strange. What's going on?" As he hears a thump from the door from the enclosure's doors, and another thump, and another, as finally it breaks down to reveal his sister, Indy. As Izuku says, "Hi, Indy, long time no see." As Indy is shocked to see her brother alive, as she says, "What? I thought I killed you." As Izuku says, "Ever heard of a possum?" As Indy says, a flippin' what? As Izuku takes this chance and tries to run past her, but let's say Indy bites Izuku's tail. Yeah, this hurts Izuku obviously, and he's dragged back into the enclosure, and he's trying to figure out a way to get out, and the only way to get out is with a fight. So, Indy goes into the first strike. She misses, and Izuku comes in with a tail whack. Yeah, this hurts Indy. And she basically growls at him. You know how would an annoyed cat would sound like? Picture that, but a lot deeper. As Izuku is like, "Okay, time to get out of here." Yeah. As he grabs Cheese, who is currently eating some grass. And, yeah. And he's being chased by his sister. And the chase continues until he reaches into the same Ankylosaurus jungle he reaches to. Well, as the Indominus attacks Bumpy's mom. Yeah, as Izuku uses some of his camouflage abilities, trying to resemble some of the trees, trying to cover Cheese as well, because goats do not blend in. And so he starts silently walking around, using some of his heat vision to try to see where Indy is. As Indy's basically saying in dinosaur language, I don't know what the dinosaur language is, as she says, "Come on, where are you? Are you here?" As she slices a tree to see nothing. "Are you here?" As she breaks some bushes. As Izuku is practically near a waterfall right now. As he says, "No guts, no glory." As Indy hears this and says, "There you are." As Izuku says, "Oh no, Cheese." As Cheese said, basically looks up and basically goes, "Bah," as in like, what? As Izuku says, "Do you like jumping from high heights?" As the goat doesn't give an answer. As Izuku says, "Okay, we got to jump." as he basically jumps into the same waterfall as the other kids. Yeah, as Izuku lands into the water and doesn't remain up, but keeps his hands together, basically cupped together. You know, when you're trying to hold a bug and you try to keep it into your hand, trying to keep in your hands? Yeah, like that. But instead of a bug, it's a goat. As Indy looks down into the waterfall, thinking that Izuku did not survive the fall. So she walks off. As Izuku comes back for air and puts cheese onto the shore, well, not shore, but out of the lake. And Izuku says, "Sorry, Cheese, but we had to do that." As Cheese says, well, not says, but Cheese basically lets out a slightly frightened bleat. As they go around the jungle, and they encounter strange things. Oh, by the way, this is right after Indy attacked Camp Cretaceous. As Izuku's walking around into the jungle, he notices something huge and brown in front of him. As Izuku looks at it and starts to wonder what the heck is it. As he finally makes it around, he notices that it's a Brachiosaurus. As Izuku says, "What the? How did you die?" As Izuku looks at its scars, and they resemble, well, the scars that Indy gave him. As Izuku basically has some form of trauma from it, and basically jumps to the ground and lands on his side in fear. And then all of a sudden he could hear someone say, "Ah, my head, what happened?" As Izuku turns to see other people that look like they came back from a destroyed tower, also with the marks of Indy. As Izuku thinks, finally, people. As he basically goes camouflage, as if not to scare them, but lets Cheese go ahead. And he sees a boy with black hair, with a white t-shirt, and how should I put this? I don't know what age is Kenji, but I'm assuming he's starting to become a young adult because in season 3 and possibly season 4, he has a beard. Yeah. I just noticed the time, and it could be another hour-long episode. Sorry, guys. Anyway. And he sees what appears to be a athletic teenage girl with a gray t-shirt. And he notices a pink-haired girl. Yeah. And this girl is different, okay? Because, yeah, let's say, what's her name again? Brooklyn, yeah, let's say Brooklyn's not in Camp Cretaceous, but instead, who's that My Hero Academia character? Mina, yeah, let's say Mina's there. And, what appeared to be a girl with flowers on her shirt and with a Texas-like accent, and a blue t-shirted boy, which is always nervous, like constantly nervous of what's around the corner. As Izuku thinks to himself, this could be good. Finally, I won't have to talk to Cheese all the time. As Cheese looks behind him, basically lets out a scream. As in like a, hey, how dare you? As the campers turn around to see a goat scream at nothing. Izuku closes his eyes just in time before they notice his eyes. As the white t-shirted boy named Darius said, "Guys, there's a goat right there." As one of the campers say, "Darius, you did not have to point that out. Am I the only one that got scared?" As Darius says, "Okay, Kenji, careful. We don't know what could be around here. Besides, the Indominus could be anywhere." As they see Ben fainted on the floor after the scream because, he's very nervous, like me. Anyway, as, this pink-haired girl with pink skin and what appear to be antlers or horns. I don't know if they're considered as horns. I always thought it was like a fashion thing. Yeah. And she says, my head hurts. As she notices there's blood coming out of it and says, "Guys, I think my horn's broken." As one of the campers, the athletic girl, says, "Oh, Mina, you okay? I think your horn is broken." As Izuku thought of giving someone some form of a bandage, but he couldn't find anything close to it. But he did find something similar. So he grabs a leaf and just gently gives it to Cheese and basically tells him not to eat it and give it to the athletic girl in gray. As Cheese basically goes up to Yasmina. Yeah. As Yasmina says, "Thank you, goat?" Yeah. As, she bandages up Mina's horn and Mina says, "Thanks, Yasmina." And finally, Sammy says, "Guys, we gotta get out of here. Quickly. The Indominus could be right around the corner anywhere." As they hear a slight Indominus-like growl, but less threatening. As we cut to Izuku's perspective, thinking, yeah, right around the corner. Not as if someone's here. What do they mean, Indominus? As Ben wakes up with fear and says, "Oh God, it's here, it's here, it's here, it's here to end us." Ah! As Kenji says, "Ben, would you shut up for once?" Basically slaps his face, trying to give some sense into him. As Darius says, whoa, Kenji, easy. We gotta get out of here, come on." As Darius thinks of a plan and says, "Come on, let's get to camp. Maybe that Indominus hasn't destroyed it yet." As Izuku decides to follow them. But unfortunately, due to the open field they are in, he has to follow from the jungle, which is a tight fit. Or a tight squeeze. So once they get to camp, they see that it's destroyed. Cheese is right behind them as well. But for some reason, they notice the goat keeps going back into the forest and coming back out with strange things, like ropes, leaves, and heck, even hats. Yeah, as they have no clue why. As they notice the footprints that resemble that of the Indominus. Yeah. Cheese is basically scared at this because he smells the footprints and they smell like Izuku's sister, Indy, the one that almost killed him. As Cheese just screams like, "Ah! Ah! Ah! Ah!" as he starts running towards Izuku again. As, well, let's say Yasmina decides to follow this goat. And she says, "Guys, I'm going to follow the goat. I'm going to try to figure out why does it keep coming back with strange stuff when it goes in there." As Ben says, "No, you can't. The Indominus is in there. Big, scary dinosaur, you know." As Kenji says, "Ben, I swear I will slap you." As Yasmina follows the goat screaming still, as the goat runs up to Izuku, and Izuku has no choice but to hold the goat and trying to calm him down, like petting it. And from Yasmina's perspective, she sees the goat get picked up by something, which appears that goat is floating. And she yells out to the group that the goat is floating. Like, "The goat is floating! The goat is floating! What the heck is going on here?" As they now notice that it's now floating. It's actually being picked up by something else. As they notice that it's not the Indominus, but a Indominus. But they don't know because it's all green. And it's standing in front of a green scenery. As Yasmina looks up to see the Indominus, as she sees the green Indominus basically trying to calm down the goat by petting it. And Izuku looks down, and he lets out a slight growl and an awkward face, wide-eyed, and said, "Uh-oh." And this is where I have to leave it off. Sorry, guys. Make sure to like and subscribe. One more. Hit the bell notification, be notified for more videos. Or do what you want. Anyway, goodbye.